All right, so at this point, we should technically know how to write the equation of the line given all four of these circumstances. Whether you have the slope and the y-intercept, a graph where you got to find the slope and the y-intercept. 2 points where you find the slope first, and the slope and the point. What I want to do is to go over just a new way of looking at how we would do number 4. And then you can start to make your decision about which path you want to do. So for instance, this is basically saying, all right, if I have a point, we'll just say my point is 4, -1, and we have a slope of, let's just say 3. Okay? Now, so far, we've talked about it as, well, if I have a slope of 3, half of the equation is already filled out. Okay? Now I need to find the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, I'll just plug everything back into y equals mx plus b. So I have my y up here, which is -1. I have my slope, which is here, which is 3. And I have my x, which is 4. And I'm looking for the b. So -1 equals 12 plus b. And so b equals -13. So that would be my y-intercept. You are expected to know how to plug them into this point-slope form. The point-slope form is written like this. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And you're going to be asked to do it like this as well, both ways. And this just means y minus the y value you're given equals m times x minus the x value you're given. So I would, using these same points right here, I would say y minus the y value I'm given. So in this case, my y value is -1. Equals the slope times x minus the x value I'm given, which in this case is going to be 4. So then we just solve it. 3. All right, so therefore I have y plus 1 equals 3 times x minus 4. When I distribute this 3, I have y plus 1 equals 3x minus 12. When I subtract this 1, y equals 3x minus 13. Okay? We okay with that? Then I want you guys to, I want you to do one for me, but I don't want to do this. I want to say that all right, let's do this one. Using point slope form. So y minus y1. All right, let's just practice this one time. So we have y minus -3 equals 1/2 times x minus 6. When we distribute this, we get 1/2 x minus 3 equals y plus 3. So therefore, we should have gotten y equals 1/2 x minus 6. All right, now, if I'm asked to graph this, let's say, we can do this one of two ways. If you're given the slope and the point, and you're asked to graph this line, if I go ahead and apply the slope, or graph the point, negative 3, 1, then from that point, I could actually apply the slope, which is up 8 over 1, okay? Or you can put it in slope-intercept form. All right, so if I have a slope of 8, this time I don't want you to point, I don't want you to do slope-intercept. I want you to do it the other way. Write the equation of this in slope-intercept form, but use the y equals mx plus b. Find your y-intercept. Half my equation is already filled out, so we plug it into y equals mx plus b, and 1 equals 8 times negative 3 plus b. So 1 equals negative 24 plus b, b equals 25. All right, so moving on, I want us to go ahead, put this in slope, actually, you know what, skip that. Put these in slope-intercept form. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and move the 3x and the 5 to both sides. So 5y equals 3x plus 5. When I divide the 5, y equals 3 over 5x. I'll subtract the 8x and add the 9 to both sides, so 3y equals negative 8x plus 9. Put 5 to 3, and y equals negative 8 over 3x plus 3. Fine. But if I tell you that you're going to give me the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, but it's going to be parallel to this line right here, and it's going to have to go through this point right here. Well, if the slope of this line, not right with this tablet, is 5, then any line that is parallel to this is going to also have a slope of 5. So then I would just go ahead and write the equation of a line that goes through 5, 4, and has a slope of 5. All right? So, you guys do this one right here. Write the equation of a line that goes through negative 1, 4 and is parallel to negative y equals negative 6x plus 5. If I do point slope, of course my slope is going to be negative 6, and I'm going to do negative 1, 4. So y minus the y value equals the slope times x minus the x value. It's minus negative 1, so plus 1. So y minus 4 equals 6x plus 6. When I add the 4, y equals 6x plus 10. So you can see here, why did I do that? It's a negative. Negative 6. So y minus 4 equals negative 6 minus 6. So y equals negative 6x minus 2. And again, I noticed that I have the same slopes, different y-intercepts. So write for me these next two. I want the equation of line that goes to negative 1, 5 and is parallel to x equals 0, and negative 5, 1, parallel to y. So let's look at this for a second. If I plot the point negative 1, 5, that's my point, negative 1, 5. Does anybody know where the line x equals 0 is? What's another name for the line x equals 0? Huh? Kind of. The y-axis. Okay? This is the line y or x equals 0. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. The y-axis. This is the line. This is the line x equals 0. Okay? Anywhere along this line right here, x equals 0. So if it's going to be parallel to this line and it has to go through this point right here, then this is my line right there. And the equation for this line is x equals -1. Has the same slope. What's the slope of this line? Undefined. It's a vertical line. So then we come over here, -5, +1, and we are going to be parallel to y equals 3, and it has to go through this point right here. Well, if this is y equals 3, what's the equation for this? Y equals 1. Okay? So these are not problems that you can do algebraically. You're going to have to understand the concepts between vertical and horizontal lines. And most importantly, how to actually graph these in case it's easier for you to sketch a graph in order to be able to see what the equation of the line would be. Now, if we go to perpendicular lines, okay, perpendicular slopes says, well, if the slope of this line right here is 3, then any line that is perpendicular to this, we flip this, and then we change the sign of whatever this is. So my perpendicular slope is -1/3, and this is the most difficult part of this right here, is just making sure that you get the slope right. Once you have the slope, what the perpendicular slope is, then I'm going to use this point right here. So I'm going to use the point 3, 3, and I'm going to use the perpendicular slope of -1/3. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug this into y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. So then I have 3 equals -1 plus b. So b equals 4. So therefore the equation of this line will be y equals -1/3x, because it's perpendicular, and the y-intercept 4. You guys did this one right here. What's my perpendicular slope going to be? Huh? Just -1. Okay, because if this has a slope of 1, then if I flip 1, well, that's 1/1, which is just 1, and change the sign from 1 to -1. So therefore, again, plugging into y equals mx plus b, if I have 0 equals -1 times 4 plus b, 0 equals -4 plus b equals 4. So therefore, my equation is y equals -x plus 4. All right, these are the last two problems I need for you to go ahead and do as well. Have an idea about this one right here? All right, again, let's go ahead and just graph this for a second. So if we have this line, y equals 4. So let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and so we have the line here. And we want to be perpendicular to the point 5, 2. So 5, 2. Perpendicular Well, if it's going to be a horizontal line, that means that this is going to be a vertical line. And so what's the equation of this line going to be right here? Anyone? Y equals x equals 5. All right, so again, similar situation. If I graph this, and we know that the x equals 0 is my y-intercept, or my y-axis. All right, and we're going through the point -1, -1, and it has to be perpendicular to this. Then this equation right here would be y equals -1. So again, for these right here, it would be probably important to kind of sketch a graph for it. All right, any questions about this stuff?